What's going on, YouTube? I pre-recorded that Khabib take, so before we get into that, I'm going to put it up after this. I just wanted to take the time to say thank you guys for clicking on this video, and thank you guys. I think I got 67 subscribers in the past day, and yesterday I revived this channel out of the abyss, out of the fucking dead zone, and to get that much subscribers in one day, it really means a lot. I haven't posted on this channel for 4 years, and to get 6 subscribers that immediately, I want to thank you guys. So if you guys are one of those subscribers, that really means a lot to me. And if I know you guys personally in real life, that's what's up, and you're the fucking realest. If I don't know you in real life, don't worry, you're the fucking realest too. And without further ado, let's switch all of this over and let's get into the video. I wish I had one of those graphics. I need to work on that where I can just move my hand and, well, if this is the whole screen, well, you get what I'm saying. Let's get into the video. What's going on, YouTube, and thank you for taking your time out of your day to come and visit my channel and click on this video. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the Eagle, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and why a lot of people do truly believe that he's the greatest to ever do it in the sports of mixed martial arts. That being said, let's get into it. Now, as you can see, I posted some stats up above for you guys to read over, but once again, brought to you by Wikipedia. The images in the background is brought to you by CBS Sports. I don't know if they might hit me with a copyright strike or anything like that. Just in case they do, I'm just gonna start giving you the shout outs of, I don't know if that's gonna do anything to YouTube or anything like that, but just give a shout out to the people that I take the image from, because most of these some of these images that I do take for the backgrounds are not necessarily free images, so I don't know how that whole copyright strike goes on YouTube. I'm an artist, so I can always just draw something out for background images and stuff, so for later videos if I do get copyright strikes. But as for now, we're just gonna keep flowing with these images I grab off online. So yeah, as you can see, the top of some of his highlights of his career is above. You can read it over, and me personally, I truly believe that Jon Jones is the greatest of all time, but I can see why, and it would be unfair not to make a video on Khabib. When you're an MMA fighter and you don't even get scratched, and you have like 29 professional MMA fights and you don't even get scratched, now that speaks volumes. Jon Jones has his out of the cage, I was gonna say off the field, he has out of the cage issues that plagues his career. He has a lot of shit that a lot of people can say, like, yo, that's the reason why he's not considered as, we put Khabib over him. And Jon Jones truly doesn't have a loss, but he has a lot of losses in life when it comes to his public perception of being the face of the company and stuff like that. Khabib, like, he's nothing but great, you know what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately, like, fucking, he had lost his dad last year, and that kind of led him to an earlier retirement. But even at an early retirement, he's still considered like one of the best fighters to ever do it. That being said, let's just break down his record. The guy's 29-0, retired, the only fighter to ever retire undefeated with this kind of magnitude, at this height. There's some fighters that we never know about that maybe retire undefeated, but when you come and you take out a division, you be the best of the best. And you don't even lose a round. Maybe you lose one round against Conor McGregor, but come on, man, it's Conor McGregor. You lost one round, and then he comes and clearly demolishes him in the next 2. So it speaks volumes. It speaks for itself, and that's why I made the video, and that's why I want to bring you guys great content. And I feel like let's break down Khabib's record. He started fighting, if you want to follow along, you can always go on Tapology.com. I just want to get that out of the way. He started all his local, all his fights, all his professional fights, I believe, local in his native country of, I believe, Russia, and I believe he's in a port of Russia. I don't know, Kyrgyzstan, or not Kyrgyzstan, but Dagestan. I'm slaughtering where he's from right now, but in his local country, he had all of his local fights all the way up until, I believe, he was about 10-0, 11-0. He finally made his rise into the UFC when he was when he was 15-0 after defeating Usmali. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. We're just going to say after defeating Santos, it led him to sign with the UFC. Now, I'm not going to get into all of his earlier bouts because, to be honest, like, I would just be fooling you guys. Like, I don't know nothing about these people, and as you can see by looking at their records on Tapology, like, they don't really have that good of a records. You know, his first his first fighter had an 0-0 record when he was 0-0. His second fighter had 0-3. You know, they're not really worth mentioning. So I'm just gonna fast forward his career until he really came into the UFC and really started to make some moves. Okay, signing on to the UFC, he had a rear naked choke against Kamal Shahos. I don't know if Salavos. I've slaughtered that. I'm not gonna try to pronounce some of these names, but I'm just gonna. Not too much reading and just do my talking. Like on his rise to in the UFC, like the guy was just purely amazing. He was dominating everybody that the UFC put in front of him. He never lost a round. He'll immediately take his opponent down and immediately just slaughter them on the ground. If you know what Khabib does, if you know this, if you're a Khabib fan, if you don't know what Khabib does, look at the image in the background. He takes you down and he just fucking grounds and pounds you. He slaughters it until he opens up for a way to get a submission. You know, as his stand in the UFC started to grow, they matched him up against Rafael dos Santos, and I remember that fight because Rafael dos Santos was one of the top fighters at the time, you know, in that division. He comes clearly out with a decision win, you know, and then he goes and he beats Dual Harchter with some ground and pound punches. Then setting up for a fight against Michael Johnson. Now, I remember that fight against Michael Johnson. There was a lot of shit talking. Michael Johnson was saying he ain't gonna do that to me, he ain't gonna do that to me. And you looked at Khabib's highlights at the time, and it was just him taking people down and grinding and pounding them. Michael Johnson's all like, yeah, it ain't gonna do that to me. Guess what happened to Michael Johnson? Michael Johnson put up a fight, but nah, he didn't. Michael Johnson got taken down, got ground and pound, and obviously ended up submitting with a Kimura. You know, after that fight, he ends up fighting Edson Barbosa. He beats Edson Barbosa, and Edson Barbosa is one of the best kickers in the UFC. Like, Edson Barbosa can kick, but, you know, he goes and he walks through Edson Barbosa and he demolishes Edson Barbosa. You know what I'm saying? So not really demolished, but he puts up a really, really good performance against Edson Barbosa. You know what I'm saying? And then we got this whole thing with Aya Quinta. Now with that whole shamble, I'm a Max Holloway fan, so there's a point in time where we might have had a Max Holloway. We would have had a Max Holloway versus Khabib fight. But what ended up happening is, you know, the UFC brass, Max Holloway took the fight on short notice. The UFC brass said Max Holloway didn't really look that good, so they pulled him out of the fight. In steps Ala Quinta. Now, Ala Quinta had a really good performance against Khabib because Khabib didn't really look his greatest against Ala Quinta, but that's the still thing. He still didn't look his greatest against Ala Quinta. That's his third opponent, you know, in the past, he was supposed to fight Ferguson like 7 fucking million times. I didn't even bring up Ferguson, but he was supposed to fight Ferguson. Ferguson trips on a wire, I guess, gets pulled out. Then he replaces with Max Holloway. Then Max Holloway, you know, UFC pulls him out because they say that he looks too sick after weight cutting. So they pull him out. Then they come in, they match him up against Aya Quinta. So in Khabib's defense, you know, who am I training for? You know what I'm saying? I'm training for all these different opponents. Like, you know. Now, I'm not going to look the best against Aya Quinta because I'm training against Max Holloway. You know what I'm saying? So everybody has different fighting styles. So I can see why his performance kind of dipped against Aya Quinta. You know, against some cancel fights like I talked about. You know, and then we got the big one that really cemented him as one of the greatest fighters to ever do it. The guy submits Conor McGregor and he walks him down. He landed a left hand, I believe. It might have been a left or a right, but he landed one nice left hand. It might have been a right hand. It was a right hand. He landed a nice right hand on Conor McGregor, which drops him. Conor McGregor immediately gets back up. But at the end of the day, like his level of striking kind of improved over as he went on in his UFC, and that's how we could tell. Like this guy came in. He used to wrestle bears when he was younger. He came in as a strict grappler, as a wrestler, and everybody knows. Like if you watch Olympics and shit, like Russia has some top dominant. Like Russia and their wrestling is nothing to be messed with. So he comes in as a wrestler, as a ground and pounder, as a guy who's just gonna take you down, submit you, ground and pound you, make you quit, just suck all the fucking energy out of you like a grown fucking human, just like shoving the whole weight on you. You can't even get up. You're helpless. You know, he does that over and over again. But then we also see an improvement of him learning with his strikes and getting better as time goes on, and seeing the improvement with his strikes, seeing him mix some other different types of weapons into his game and being a fully completed fighter at the end of his career. And that's why a lot of people consider him as one of the greatest fighters to ever do it, because we've seen him come in as not like a super athletic, not like a super top prospect. We didn't really rate him as much, you know. He was coming in as a prospect, but everybody already knew there was something special with him, but it took time. It took time, and that's why a lot of people consider him the greatest, because we've seen his whole career unfold in front of our eyes. And due to his performances sometimes out of the octagon, with being a lot of injuries plagued his career as well, he didn't really catch on to the main not really the hardcores, but just the main casual fans. Khabib really never got on to the casual fans due to his injuries, which I truly believe that if you don't get injured, you can fight more, and then obviously you get more fans, and obviously you get more attention. But he finally got that attention later on in his career, and it was really good to see that. As you can see, pulling this back up, Dustin Poirier, after beating Conor McGregor, he's handed they don't hand him the belt in the octagon because due to what happened after that, but he gets the lightweight strap, and then he gets to fight Dustin Poirier, which Dustin Poirier defeats Max Holloway to get that title shot, you know what I'm saying? And Max Holloway tried to go up to light heavyweight. We'll get into another video about that, but anyhow, he beats Dustin Poirier, you know what I'm saying? And then he goes in and he beats Justin Gaethje, and Justin Gaethje has an amazing performance against Tony Ferguson. And if you just look at those last three, he beats Conor McGregor, he beats Dustin Poirier, which a lot of people have been sleeping on for a little bit, but I finally truly believe that Dustin Poirier finally got his hype and his respect, man. Dustin Poirier can fucking scrap, man. He can scrap, and as a Max Holloway fan, it sucked seeing Max Holloway against Dustin Poirier. It really did, because Dustin Poirier is a true scrap. Max Holloway, we can get into that a little bit later, and but Dustin Poirier didn't top it off with Gaethje, what Gaethje did to Ferguson, how Gaethje lucked over his last couple of fights, and then what Khabib did to Gaethje. And that's why I truly believe, being 29-0, haven't really lost a match, never really got cut, never really got scratched. Basically, lost one round to Conor McGregor. And if you ask any casual, they think Conor McGregor is the greatest thing in the UFC. Obviously his promotion shit is top level, but if you ask, when I talk to some of my friends that don't really watch the UFC, they think that Conor McGregor is one of the GOATs, which obviously he's a GOAT in promoting himself and GOAT in marketing and shit like that. But it speaks volumes to shut Conor McGregor down like that, because although Conor McGregor is good at promoting himself, Conor McGregor can fight and can fuck up a lot of people in the sport. He not maybe one of the greatest to ever do it, but he's one of the greatest boxers to ever do it in the sport. I say that pretty confidently. Conor McGregor's hands are no fucking joke. So for Khabib to drop Conor, and to Conor didn't go to sleep, but that Conor Destin fight was awesome. But we're talking about Khabib in this video. For Khabib to do that to Conor and then get him into submission, you know what I'm saying? It was really segmented him and put him at a place where a lot of people, few people could reach in the sport. Being 29-0 and not even losing once. That speaks volumes, and that's why a lot of people do consider him the greatest to ever do that, the king of all the kings, the alpha, the omega of the UFC. So if you feel like that, leave a comment below, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to make this video to bring you guys some information and why people do truly believe that Khabib is one of the greatest to ever do this. And I want to end this note with this. I'm a Jon Jones believer. That off the shit, out of the cage shit don't hold value, as if you never watched my Jon Jones video, I discussed it in that one. But the only reason why I just feel like Jon Jones has the better resume, in my mind, it's just my opinion. I know this is a Khabib video, but if Khabib, if he came back due to the circumstances, God bless that guy, God bless the family too, and stuff like that. But we don't want him, his dad died, he has to make his choice, you know what I'm saying? And he retired. But if he was to come back and if he was to beat like a GSP, or if he was to fight like a Oliveira or like a Chandler and just get one more, two more, that a lot of people say that he doesn't need it. That's why I made this video, because a lot of people say he doesn't need to. But me personally, I would have probably wanted to see him beat a GSP or beat like a Michael Chandler or Oliveira just for one more name, because if he had one more name, that would have kind of slid me, okay, John Jones might have been too if he had just one or two more names, you know. Only reason why I say that is because like he has like 15 fights that you know, that's against nobody we really know of, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to diss the guy. The guy clearly is one of the top. He clearly is one of the GOATs. But in this videos, we're trying to find the GOAT. The GOAT of the GOAT. So a lot of people do believe that the Khabib is the GOAT of the GOATs. That's why he deserves one of these videos. And also, I'm gonna make a next video probably about Amanda Nunes, the lioness of all of the females to ever do it. Awesome. You guys have a wonderful evening. You guys have a wonderful day. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Aloha.